Hey everyone, Dave K here, and today we're going to talk about some healthy habits and some healthy tips. I was having some discussions with some friends about living healthy and eating healthy, and I wanted to share some of my thoughts and insights here with you. Let's get to it. Hey everyone, Dave K here today with some healthy tips and advice for you. First thing I want to address here, a couple questions from friends, a couple discussions I had with some friends, and I wanted to touch on some of these healthy components of healthy living, that sort of thing. Number one here is the most important meal of the day. What's the most important meal of the day? What do you have to make sure that you eat, and when do you have to make sure you eat it in order to make sure you stay healthy? And so one thing that I was talking to a friend about is the importance of breakfast. You guessed it, breakfast, or maybe you didn't guess it. Let me know in the comments below. Did you know breakfast is important? Let me tell you why. There's a couple different reasons. Number one is it starts your metabolism. So first thing in the morning, if you eat something, let's say within half an hour of waking up, or maybe within an hour of waking up, it allows your metabolism to start working. So I know a lot of people say, oh, well, I'm skipping breakfast so that I'm, digesting more, I'm burning more weight. And some people, at least, won't actually start metabolizing. You won't start actually burning calories, if you will, until you eat something first thing in the morning. So your body goes into a sleep cycle at night. You're asleep and your body says, okay, I'm not burning calories. I'm just kind of resting here, trying to sort of maintain this level, maintain the status quo until you wake up and kind of start your day again. But again, you kind of need to remind your body to activate. So by eating breakfast, you're kind of reminding your body, hey, we got to get this day started. We got to start digesting some food. We got to start burning some calories. Let me eat something just to let you know, to get that metabolism started, to get that digestive system working. So just to let you know, some people, I want to say a good number of people, their metabolism won't actually start until you eat something first thing in the morning. So I like to start my day with eating something as early as possible. That being said, I know you have a lot of other things to take care of first thing in the morning. Maybe you're getting dressed, getting ready for work, brushing your teeth, that kind of thing. But try to make sure you take some time to eat as well. Maybe you can eat on the go. Just have a little snack of something. Let's say you just have a couple of mixed nuts or something along those lines on the go. That is totally acceptable as well. Just an idea and a different way there to make sure you continue to burn those calories and continue to get your metabolism started first thing in the morning. Another reason that breakfast is so important, I want to touch on another reason why breakfast is a good idea. You also have the most time throughout the day to digest those calories. So common misconception I've heard from some people, some friends, is if I eat most at dinner and don't eat too much in the morning, that's a good way to go. I personally think that you're best off eating the most in the morning and eating the least at dinner. So you can have a big breakfast, kind of medium-sized lunch, and a small dinner, because you have the least amount of time to digest that dinner before you go to sleep, right? So you're continuing to burn calories throughout the day until, of course, you go to sleep, kind of turns off the system. So you're just going to kind of be sitting on that food or sitting on those calories as you sleep overnight. So my suggestion would be, if at all possible, eat a larger breakfast, eat a smaller dinner, kind of work your way down in terms of calories throughout the day. That being said, another way to go, and I think this is probably the best way to go, is instead of eating a huge meal for breakfast and eating a small meal for dinner, eat multiple meals throughout the day. So yes, eat more in the morning than you do later at night, but make sure that you're having multiple meals throughout the day. So maybe instead of having 3 meals and they're all pretty good sized meals, try to have maybe 6 meals and they're like half meals or mini meals. And there's a couple reasons for this one as well. First of all, you're keeping that digestive system, that metabolism working. So instead of dumping a whole bunch of food in, say, try to work through this, then your stomach has to expand to try to digest it all, and then having these large intervals of blank time, if you will. If you give it little by little, say, okay, here's a couple hundred calories, digest that. Here's a couple hundred calories a couple hours later, digest that. It'll prevent you from needing to maybe expand your stomach or maybe maximize your metabolism or work too hard initially with that metabolism to digest that much food. And on the other hand, again, doesn't keep you kind of waiting for food or hungry for food for too long. So I also feel like I don't get as hungry, and I'm not as hungry or feel the need to get food as quickly if I do eat kind of smaller meals throughout the day. I'm sort of continuously eating, but small amounts, healthy amounts, to try to keep myself continuing to eat in a healthy fashion. But again, not too large amounts, so I'm not overeating. I'm not getting in the habit either of eating large amounts of food in a sitting, so my stomach isn't that size where it expects, oh, I'm going to need this much food instead of this much food in order to be able to do what I need to do. So just something to keep in mind there. Mini meals throughout the day, I think, is even better than having big breakfast, smaller dinner. But you should have more in the morning than you do at night closer to bedtime. So a couple thoughts to keep in mind there. Make sure you're considering those two things in terms of sort of the dining habits and how you should go about eating food to maximize your health. Another thing I want to touch on is water. Water is very, very important. And you have to make sure that you're drinking enough water. I like to keep water handy and close by. You can see I've got a bottle right there, and I'll refill my bottles as well. It's an easier way to go. Just have that plastic bottle. You can take it with you on the go, but you can also refill it, whether you're using a Brita or some sort of filter at home. But that's besides the point. What we're talking about here is the importance of water. So let's get back to it. Importance of water, and the reason that water is so important is this. So if you drink enough water throughout the day, there's several different reasons why water is important. You need to stay hydrated in order to keep your metabolism going, and you need to stay hydrated in order to just have energy and to be able to do more and to remember more and to focus more. Water is very, very important. It's a very large percent of what our body is made up of. But another reason for me that I like to drink so much water and I like to try to continue to hydrate throughout the day, something that I learned growing up, and this was kind of a habit I had to ingrain in myself, is when I think that I'm hungry, when I'm telling myself, oh, I think it's time for a snack, or I think I'm hungry, generally I'll get some water first. And a lot of the times, water is the answer. I'm not actually hungry, I'm just dehydrated or I'm just thirsty. So you got to make sure that you're drinking enough water, and that can kind of fill the spot for food. So you may find, I think I'm hungry and I got to eat now, But if you say, okay, first let me try having, half a bottle of water, a whole bottle of water, maybe half a liter or a quarter of a liter, if you will, some water in there. Just keep mixing some water in. You can get a better idea of if you're actually really, really hungry, or if you just need to make sure that you're hydrating. So a couple thoughts there. Making sure you're continuing to drink that water, because it can fill up that space food-wise. You can say, oh, I'm super hungry. And a lot of the times, regardless of how hungry I am, sometimes I'm extremely hungry. And if I drink a good amount of water, I'll go from extremely hungry to, okay, I'm still hungry, but now I'm like more comfortably hungry because I've filled some of that space with water. So I feel like water is very handy in terms of kind of filling that food space and reminding you of how hungry you really are, how much you really need food versus how much you just need hydration and how much you need water. So make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day. Now, I'm no expert on how much water you personally should drink, so make sure you're looking into that, talking to your doctor, and you can look up some different answers as well. But I would strongly advise most people at least drink 2 liters of water throughout the day. That's 4 of those water bottles. Really not that much. I like to drink a lot more than that. I'll drink closer to 4 liters of water, or maybe 8 of those water bottles throughout the day. At least that's my goal generally. But different people have different goals, so something to keep in mind. Make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day. And a lot of the time, most people do think that what they're drinking is enough, but you actually need more water than that. So just something to keep in mind. Make sure that you are indeed hydrating. Another question I get a lot, or sort of comment, is it's tough to find the time to exercise. And I can understand this as well. Time can be very busy. My schedule is generally quite full as well. And so to find the time to do the exercise that you need to do can be very tricky. And so what's my suggestion for this? Generally, I would say you can do a lot of exercises that are quicker and more efficient, kind of easy to do at home. So that's what I like to do, is do those exercises you kind of do at home or kind of offhand. And you may be wondering, or you may be asking yourself, what are those exercises, Dave? What kind of exercises can I do at home? Well, let me tell you about a couple. First of all, I like to do push-ups. You may already know this. I try to do 50 push-ups every morning just to keep myself in shape, get the energy kind of flowing first thing in the morning. And I think first thing in the morning is a pretty good time to exercise as well. It can be a little bit harder to get to sleep if you exercise too late at night, and it can kind of get more energy going. I feel more energized in the morning after I do some morning push-ups. So just something to keep in mind for you. Start your day off. It'll help you move a little bit faster by doing those push-ups, and it doesn't take too much time. You can just do them right on the floor when you wake up, or wherever you've got some space. You can do those push-ups pretty much from any location. You may not want to do them in the hallway at work or anything along those lines, but being able to do those push-ups, pretty convenient from anywhere. So my room is generally my go-to spot for that. Push-ups is a big one. Now there's 2 more I'm working on adding to my routine here, and I think with these 3, you'll be in a pretty good place. The second one is sit-ups. So you want to make sure that you're getting that ab workout in. I'm continuing to work on this as well, refine my ab workout routine. Again, my goal, just sort of kind of starting point, is let me make sure I get 50 sit-ups in every day. Maybe first thing in the morning, I'm going to add it right next to those push-ups. Make sure I'm getting that kind of ab exercise in, just kind of for myself, and make sure I'm taking care of the core as a whole. So I get a lot of upper body exercise with the push-ups. I want to make sure I'm getting that core exercise with those sit-ups as well. And then for number 3, the third magical exercise that you can do anywhere, and you can do it from home, and it's super efficient and doesn't take too much time, is squats. And you may have seen me do squats, you may have heard me talk about squats in the past, but just without weight, you can do kind of free squats where you're just sort of standing, looking forward, and doing kind of freestanding squat. Make sure that you, squats are a little bit trickier to do. You want to make sure you get the form right. So make sure you keep your knees kind of straight and over your ankles there. Again, it's more like a sitting squat. You don't want to lean too forward with your squats. But squats are a good workout that you can do from anywhere. It's very efficient. You can do this one from home. And it's a great way to get some of that lower body exercise in as well. So a couple workouts there, 3 workouts you can do from home. Can be extremely efficient. If you can do 50 of those each morning, I think you'll see some change. I don't know if you do this already. Let me know in the comments below. Do you see a big impact of doing this? But that's my goal. I want to work up to adding in the sit-ups and the squats as well. I got those push-ups in the routine already. But 3 exercises there for you. You can take on the go, and it can even help you get started more quickly first thing in the morning. Another thing to keep in mind when it comes to healthy eating and healthy living, a lot of people say to me, well, I think that I'm good in terms of calories because I'm drinking diet soda instead of regular soda. And there are impacts on your digestive system and your metabolism to drinking that diet soda. So just something to keep in mind. Sometimes the diet soda can have more of a negative impact than you can imagine. For one, you might find, at least from the caffeination perspective, that the soda will make you more hungry and you'll feel like you need to eat more frequently. So just something to keep in mind. Soda can make you feel like you need more food or can cause you to eat more food in a sitting. So that can be a tricky component as well. There's a couple tricky components to soda, but that's definitely a big one in terms of why I try to avoid diet soda as well as regular soda. I like to stick with just pure water as often as I can, but when I feel like I want a sugary beverage, when I have the opportunity and when I feel like I want it, I'll go for, maybe it's juice or maybe I'll go for a slushie. I do enjoy a slushie. A milkshake is great too, but I try to avoid the carbonated, like the soda and that kind of thing. I don't really do coffee either. I don't know if I've touched on this in the past. There are kind of mixed reviews in terms of the healthiness of coffee, pros and cons if you will. But there are a couple components of coffee that can be a little bit tricky. Make sure that if you're a coffee drinker, you're drinking enough water and you're drinking enough milk, because it does kind of drain the calcium from your bones a little bit as well. So water and milk if you're a coffee drinker. I'm more of a tea person or kind of a slushy or juice kind of person. But generally, if I can, I'm going to opt for that water. Always my go-to there. So just something to keep in mind in terms of some of those beverages and how they can impact your eating as well. Another thing I've touched on a little bit in the past, but I want to dive into a little bit more, is stress and that impact on your eating and on your weight, as well as the importance of sleep and getting enough sleep and how that can impact you. So those are 2 very important things to consider. Now stress, especially that negative stress, and I've talked a little bit about positive stress and negative stress before in some of those positivity videos and that sort of thing. And let me know if you want to hear more about that as well. But the importance of trying to keep low stress is very important in terms of your weight and your digestive system and your metabolism as well. Because a lot of the time when you get stressed, you are actually, in a sense, kind of burning more calories, and you're going to feel the need to eat more, but it's not really in a positive, healthy way. You want to burn calories by exercising, not so much by having that internal stress. But it can cause you to eat more. You know, you feel like you need to eat, kind of fill the void of that stress. So just something to keep in mind there. If you have a lot of stress going on, it can impact your metabolism and how you're eating as well. So try to practice those sort of calm, or try to practice that positivity, that mindfulness, and be positive and really enjoy, as much as you can, enjoy the moments and look for the little things you can appreciate to try to reduce that stress, to try to help you live healthier and eat better as well. And one last thing to touch on is that healthy night's sleep and the importance of a healthy night's sleep in making sure that you're remaining healthy and you're digesting properly and that sort of thing. So really getting enough sleep is very important. I know some people feel comfortable with less sleep and some people feel comfortable with more sleep, and there is something to be said for everyone needs their own personal, unique amount of sleep, and you know, each person has their own requirements. But generally for me, I say 8 hours, maybe even 9 hours if I can get it, is a good amount of sleep for me. And it's really just a question of when do I feel energized, and when am I able to get up and just feel energized and comfortable for the day, as opposed to kind of having that drag. And I feel like a lot of that drag, in addition to just kind of the detriments of being sleep deprived, is it's kind of an emotional, again, it kind of weighs you down. It can stress you out. It can take away from that energy to be able to go about your day, really enjoy it all, and do everything you want to do. So something to keep in mind there is kind of the drain, if you will, the emotional drain and the physical drain of being sleep deprived. So make sure that you're looking out for that. One of the best ways I like to gauge that I'm getting enough sleep is This works for me, I don't know if this works for everybody, but when I am not working, if I'm getting up at the same times and I just kind of stick with that scheduled time and I kind of get up naturally, even if I get up, especially if I get up naturally a little bit before my alarm, for me personally, then I'm saying to myself, all right, I got a good amount of sleep and I feel comfortable and I'm stretching out. I'm like, all right, okay, feeling good, feeling well rested. It's a natural wake up and I feel healthy and energized. Waking up a little bit before the alarm, that's really ideal for me. So something to keep in mind for you. If you're thinking about what is a healthy amount of sleep, well, when do you feel energized and comfortable and like you got a good amount of sleep, especially on those off days where you don't have to set the alarm, or on the days where maybe you got up before the alarm. Something to keep in mind there as well. What do you think of these health videos? Do you like this sort of stuff? I know a lot of friends talked about wanting to hear more of that healthiness and talking about exercise and talking about eating and fitness, that kind of thing. Do you like this sort of stuff? Do you want to see more of it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for being a part of the fun with me today. If you haven't already, for more fun, family-friendly adventures, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay informed. And make sure you check out my gaming channels as well. If you like gaming, in the description below, you'll see my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DaveK. And on my other channel, my other YouTube channel, you'll find in the end screen. So on the end screen, you'll see at the time of filming, it's called Dave K Media. So you'll be able to find Dave K Media. I put a lot of the gaming videos over there as well. If you want to hang out in some of the gaming adventures, make sure you check those out as well. Thanks for being a part of the fun with me. And until next time, play on. Hey everyone, Dave K here today, and today I want to touch on some very important health tips, some questions that I've heard some friends, some discussions that I've had with some friends about healthy living and healthy eating. Let's get to it. That being said, another way to go, I probably think